mustard is an annual plant that exhibits erect growth. The seedlings have broad kidney-shaped cotyledons that are indented at the tip. Older plants have alternate leaves that are somewhat hairy, especially on the lower surface of the veins. The lower leaves are usually stalked, deeply lobed with a large terminal segment and a few smaller lateral lobes. Upper leaves are stalkless, generally undivided but coarsely toothed. Plant height can range from 30 to 100 centimeters with either simple or much branched stems. The stems usually have stiff, downward pointing hairs, especially on the lower parts, and are green or somewhat purplish. Flowers are produced in small clusters at the ends of branches, these clusters elongating as the seed pods develop.
So as you can see, mustard flowers don't really have leaves per se. They have these long little, pretty close. You can see them, they look like little fingers or sticks or something. Clayton, you want to elaborate on what are inside these?
So each one of these will turn into a seed pod with 10 to 18 seeds per pod, which if you look at the whole plant, that ends up to being about 2,500 to 3,000 seeds per plant. So you can see why this could become a major problem really quickly, and it's very important to control it before it releases its seeds.
Wild mustard reproduces by seed. Seeds are oblong, roughly 1/24 of an inch long and half as wide, and brownish yellow to dull orange. Mature plants tend to break off at the base and tumble in the wind, which shakes loose and spreads seed.
You ready? 1,
2, 3. So, mustard. Is it a weed? Is it a cover crop? Can't really tell here because obviously it looks like a cover crop, looks like it was planted here, but in fact it can be both, depending on what your perspective is. So I mean, in Napa they've got the annual mustard festival where they actually celebrate the beauty of these little yellow flowers and just the amazing wonders of mustard, because it's great for a cover crop. It can break up soils and mix it in. It's great at fixing nitrogen, and it looks beautiful out in the vineyard, which the whole valley of the Napa Valley is completely covered.
Anyways.
Some of my favorite things about mustard.
Some of my favorite things about mustard. Well, these little yellow flowers. Aren't they pretty? And when it's mature, you get those little pods on it, about 1.5 inches long, full of seeds. And what can you do with those seeds? Grind them up and put them in your mustard to make some gourmet mustard. And yes, everything on this plant is actually edible. Sadly, some of the seeds and the flowers and the roots contain sulfur compounds, which, if eaten in very high concentrations, can be kind of sickly. If these compounds, the sulfur compounds, are eaten in high quantities, then they can be toxic to cattle and livestock animals. It can irritate their bowels and whatnot. But for humans, perfectly safe. Blanch them out. These leaves, perfect like spinach. Just blanch them and you're good to go. Throw them in a salad. And same with the petals and everything. Perfect to eat.
Yeah. So here we are in an abundance of mustard. As you can see, it's been managed extremely well, to the point where we can actually harvest them if we like. Would you like to demonstrate?
I would.
Hand harvesting mustard is one of the most effective ways if you can get the full taproot out. Do you see this? Let me remove some of the dirt. Taproot. The majority of it is gone. There are baby rhizomes probably still in the ground. This could possibly resprout, hopefully not, but given the amount of nitrogen these things fixate, I would say it's a good chance they will.
Alright, so other methods of controlling mustard would be burning, mulching, or herbicide sprays. But Cal Poly's favorite method is using enterprise students for free labor.
Wild mustard is considered a weed for various reasons. First of all, it rapidly spreads by seeds. Secondly, it can reduce yield by stealing precious resources. And lastly, can also host a number of pests. These include various detrimental insects, nematodes, fungi, viruses, and bacteria. These are especially problematic when mustard is in a field with its relatives, like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage.
Wild mustard is quite common in cultivated fields, gardens, pastures, riverbanks, roadsides, and of course vineyards. It is generally controlled easily with herbicide compounds such as 2,4-D, glyphosate, triazines, with resistance in a few counties, and a few other compounds. Pre-emergents also have a great effect on the young seeds in cotyledon. Biological control is also an effective tool. Flea beetles feed on the cotyledons, leaves, apical bud tissue, petioles, stems, roots, and seed pods, causing the typical shot-hold appearance. Severely damaged seedlings may die, while less seriously damaged plants often suffer a reduction in vigor and stamina. Larvae feed on the root hairs and taproots of seedlings. In a few cases, larvae have been observed burrowing into the plant near the juncture of the root and stem. Another bug is the diamondback moth caterpillar. These attain a length of 1/2 an inch and are light yellowish to green. The larvae eat the leaves, flowers, and green pods. The bugs are extremely active when touched. The first instars mine leaf tissue, and the plant chemicals that are common in this plant family are used by the moth as a movement suppressant, feeding stimulants, and egg-laying stimulants. Mustard is a preferred egg-laying site and can be used to attract bug populations.
Fun fact! Wild mustard was brought to the United States by the Spaniards who were lining the El Camino Real from Mexico to the United States in order to find their way back once they got to where they were going.
Mustard is a very old plant, 3,000-year-old, supposed to come from India. But the word that we know today as mustard originally came from mustard ardens, which means burning flame, and it was the name given to the mustard and the sauce that was used from the seeds crushed with the fermented wine juice that would give it the spicy flavor. Indeed, he has probably tried it himself.
Hold on, wait. So we were discussing earlier the types of animals and insects and bugs that eat mustard. One of them is the human. This is Clayton.
Not bad.
It's a good cover crop?
Tastes similar to spinach. Not too bad.
Not too
I
bad.
can sprinkle it on my salad.
Yeah, Clayton's own dressing.